Sarah asked, is it OK that after the Russians killed off the spy who pissed them off, Theresa May is now trying to piss off Putin? Hashtag don't poke the Putin. I mean, could I just say, firstly, don't poke the Putin is the best hashtag ever. It kind of sounds like the catchphrase from an 80s Russian sitcom character. You know what Sergei says? Don't poke the Putin. In fact, I've already had this made up, because I think the phrase is going to catch on. Look, here's what happened this week. Theresa May announced on Monday that the nerve agent used in the attempted murder of the former Russian spy had been traced back to Russia and gave the Russian government until midnight on Tuesday to give a credible excuse, which is the most British way ever to respond to a murder. Right. Seems like you've tried to kill some people, so I'm going to give you a ruddy, harsh deadline. and I tell you what, if you don't explain yourself, I will wait a day and then give you a damn good talking to. Alex Edward asks, is it OK that I'm on Russia's side during this nonsense? Hashtag innocent until proven guilty. No, it's not. Not OK to be on Russia's side. And I'll tell you, if you are thinking that you might be, I'll tell you why it's not OK. The Kremlin has been accused of killing Alexander Litvinenko, shooting down a passenger jet and annexing Crimea. It's now entirely possible that the Russian state has used a nerve agent on European soil for the first time since World War II. 3 people are in hospital, including a British police officer. Today it was announced that another Russian critic found dead in London last week was murdered. And you want to take Putin's side on this? Vladimir Putin is not a nice guy. He's not just a wronged man who's misunderstood and is facing down an international conspiracy. He's a fucking thug who keeps getting away with this shit. It's fine to...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Noel McCusker said, is it OK that the Russian embassy's UK Twitter account is trolling the UK government superbly? Hashtag Russia did it. Now, the Russian embassy in London has taken trolling to the next level this week with a barrage of tweets mocking the UK. I tell you what, Russia, you might be able to beat us with cyber technology, but we will not be out-memed.
No.
We will meme you on the beaches. Wow. We will meme you on the internet. We will never retweet. Now. We have to cover the sombre news of the week, and there is a lot around, but once again, there was a shooting in America this week. This time in a school in Florida where 17 people were killed. Chris Darby said, is it OK that there have been so many mass shootings in America? I'm almost desensitised to them. This is the thing. Every time one of these shootings happens, we come in and think, what can we say that we've not said before? There is nothing we can say about these things that we've not said before. In fact, we've even said there's nothing we can say that we've not said before. We've said everything we can think of.
How much of the NRA donated to Donald Trump? Is it...
The National Rifle Association?
Yes,
yeah.
That's more than any other president.
Is it?
Yes, yeah. And so it just, you know, just hopeless. I feel like Sandy Hook was a kind of...
Yeah.
You know, once it was OK to kill... That was 2012, wasn't it? Once it was OK to kill kids,
yeah,
there was going to be no going back, was there? I mean, it's just...
A high school shooting is kind of like a rite of passage for teenagers now. Do you know what I mean? Like they have a prom, a homecoming, a shooting and then a graduation. It virtually happened. People are now joining the US Army just to get out of going to high school in America. But the thing is, Donald Trump will not say anything. He gave a speech. He didn't mention guns once. He didn't say anything had to be done about gun control. But when a Muslim so much as sneezes in a public place, he is the first person to rail against it on Twitter. I think what we need to do is convince Donald Trump that guns are Muslim. If we tell him that guns were introduced to America 200 years ago by ISIS so that Americans would eventually end up killing each other, maybe he'll take some action. When shootings like this have happened in other countries, they've restricted access to guns and the shootings have stopped. We know it's worked here, it's worked in Australia. It would probably work in America, but you know Donald Trump's not going to do anything about this. He's offered thoughts and prayers today. He said he's offered his thoughts and prayers.
He's offered thoughts and prayers, and I'm a Christian, but I've got to say, I think that's not going to work.
Is it OK for creepy rich men to grope girls whilst hiding under the banner of charity? Hashtag President's Club. Look, it's a story of the week, but if you don't know, a charity that regularly raises millions for Great Ormond Street Hospital was disbanded this week after an article alleged that attendees at the men's-only event groped female hosts and propositioned them. Now, the hostesses were specially hired. They were told to wear skimpy black outfits with matching underwear and high heels. They were warned that the men attending might be annoying and possibly try to get them drunk. It seemed pretty sordid. Rachel, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts on this?
This is complicated because these girls, you know, there were so many klaxons there. You know, they had to sign NDAs, had to give away their phones. They were issued with compulsory slaggy uniforms.
And
did they not suspect the evening might be a bit of a sleazy, men-only...
And by NDA, you mean non-disclosure agreements?
Yeah, sorry, NDA.
Yeah,
did not attend or whatever it did in the NHS.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the real victims in this case are the children for whom those donations were intended. The millions of pounds to Great Ormond Street and other hospitals, which the charities now feel is tainted money and has had to be returned. I say, don't be so... You know, this is going to set an impossibly high standard for charities across the sector. If all donation has to be kite-marked as kosher...
Well, hang on. An incredibly high standard for a charity is... I mean, it's not an incredibly high standard to say, can you just make sure anyone that donates doesn't sexually assault anyone? That's not...
No,
that's a pretty low bar to jump over.
None of... Listen, I plead for no one here, but as far as I'm aware, none of the girls have said there was nothing criminal that went on that night.
But had they can't,
But they raised
£2
£2 million, and would you prefer to see the £2 million handed back to these chateau-bottled shits who were groping these girls? No, I'd prefer to see this money go to the children that these drunk men gave it for and to.
Do you know what I would have liked to have seen them? Not stop the event, hold the event again next year, not go public with what happened. Instead of hostesses, employ kickboxing women and make the men sign non-disclosure agreements and then lock the fucking doors. David Monahan asked, is it OK that Rosie Bancroft had her prosthetic leg stolen? Now, the Paralympic swimming hopeful Rosie Bancroft had her adapted car stolen this week with her prosthetic leg in it. And the crazy thing is, her car actually had the accelerator on the left-hand side. So whoever stole it had to learn how to drive it really quickly.
It's like a specially adapted car.
Yeah.
How did they even get it going? It'd be like a game of Twister, wouldn't it? It's like right leg to accelerator, left hand to brake.
It's a dedicated thief who can't tell anyone how amazing he is to steal such a car. Because obviously he's got to keep it a secret. That's a shame.
Do you guys just... Have you ever mistakenly left your leg in the car and then you, like, go, am I missing something?
No, I've always got mine in the car. It's like, you know when you have your mittens tied to your coat?
We've spoken to Rosie this week and the leg still hasn't been returned, so we're declaring a leg amnesty, if that makes sense. What? You don't have to hand yours in.
No, I'm not giving you my leg. I'm desperate for her to find a car and leg. I'm not giving you mine, though.
If you've got Rosie's leg... Firstly, if you've got Rosie's leg, you're an arsehole. Yeah. You've driven off in an adapted car with a prosthetic in it. There's a special place in hell for you, and it's a cell with Oscar Pistorius. However... However, you can redeem yourself by returning the leg. Send it to us, send it to Rosie, take the car back. And look, if you're in the Manchester area, keep an eye out for Rosie's leg. I don't know how you're going to find it. But look, if you don't take it back, it's only a matter of time before you get caught, because think about it, there aren't really that many people around who can drive an adapted car and need a spare prosthetic. And look, after speaking to Rosie, we're pretty sure the perpetrator probably looks like this.